Of course, we had another amazing one with Dr. Bode Oguntoke, all right, too, as well. And yeah, so right about time for us to go straight into the very first panel session for the next 3 days, because we're going to have a series and a couple of them. For this particular panel discussion, all right, one of them will be joining us virtually, while the other two will join us physically right here in this space. But I won't be moderating that. And this session is, all about trending cybersecurity issues in the pandemic era. And of course, Harrison Energy will be joining us virtually. Duje Iguapo will be joining us physically here. Daniel Agumbo as well will be joining us physically here. And to moderate this session, as we move on to the very next phase, is a seasoned cybersecurity professional, one of the notable cybersecurity thought leaders in Nigeria. His remarkable local and international experience in information security cover cybersecurity strategy, formulation and road mapping, cybersecurity business benefit management, governance, risk and compliance, GRC, data protection regulation, vulnerability assessment and penetration testing, that's the VAPT, cybersecurity risk management and cybersecurity program management. And of course, he received a BSc in computer science from the University of Hertfordshire in the UK. And he also made a distinction grade in MSc Computer Security and Forensics from the University of Bedfordshire in the UK. Possesses many industry respected IT and cybersecurity professional certifications, such as the CISM, the ISO 2701 LI and ISO 2701 LA and others. And sometimes in his career, he occupied several IT and InfoSec managerial and leadership positions in different blue chip and international organizations within and outside Nigeria. Well, he's presently focused on cybersecurity improvement initiative from business and governmental organizations within and outside Nigeria. And he has discussed cybersecurity topical issues on national TV, and of course, such as the AIT, the TBC, and the likes. He's the Group ICT Manager at Amazon Energy Group and one of the Executive Directors of Cybersecurity Experts Association of Nigeria and a new member of ISACA Lagos chapter. People, do make welcome and celebrate your very own and the person of Olabode Agbola. Please join your hands together for him as he moderates this next panel session. You can do much better than that, and don't stop clapping until he gets here. Thank you very much, sir.
So the reason why you didn't answer me is because probably it took overdose of those stuff. So you have to prove me wrong. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, that's better. Okay, yeah, don't mind the MC reading that long profile. Na bubu. My name is Olabode, as he has said. I'm happy to be in this conference, and I'm happy to be in charge of the trending cybersecurity issues in pandemic era. On the panel with me, I have somebody who is not unfamiliar. We were together in a conference in October organized by Shishan at 4 Point Hotel. He also joined remotely. So I think I'll be calling Harrison a remote man, any man from now. Yeah, but he was a fantastic resource in that conference. So I also have with me on this panel, Duje Iguapo. Please, if you are here, please, can you please join me up here? And let's clap for him as he does that. So the first thing I want him to do is to probably give us his bio. I should have done that sincerely. My apologies. I thought it would be done by MC, but I should have gotten that bio and read it. So my apologies. Please, in a few minutes, can you give us your bio if you don't mind?
Can I appeal that to my brother, Mr. Visual, give us his bio too?
Well, who?
My brother, Mr. Visual. That's what you said. He joined us virtually.
Harrison,
are you there?
He's going to do that, but you are here now. I'm going to ask him to do that.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. My name is Iguapo Etuche. Okay, I've had above 22 years experience in information security, IT auditing, IT control, operational risk, reputational risk, strategic risk, and more of it I've been in the banking environment. So I've started in banking, and 22 years and thereabout I've been in the banking industry. I studied computer science for the BSc. I had an MBA too. I did a course at Wharton University in Pennsylvania. And oh, sorry. I thought I was loud enough. Thank you. CISA, CISM, CISSP, CEH, Certified Ethical Hacker, certified in Computer Forensic Investigation, ISO 27001, lead auditor and lead implementer, business continuity management system, lead auditor and lead implementer, privacy, PIMS, right. One thing I must appeal for, I don't know, I can't remember all my certifications, so I beg you forgive me about that, but that's true, I can't remember all. But I like them because it helps as you go along and as you learn, helps you. In terms of managerial experience within the GRC and systems and control, well, I've been head of IT audit. I have been head of IT controls. My career started as a programmer, right? And I've been group head operational risk management. I've been head strategic risk management at some point. I've managed reputational risk management at some points. I've been head of information security. I've been head of IT risk. And I've been head of digital banking risk. And today I'm CISO for Heritage Bank. And what else? Okay, I was once a member of the board of ISACA. That should be like how many years ago? I can't remember now. Maybe some 10 years? I can't remember, but that's true. I'm an executive member of ISAN, Information System Security Association of Africa in Nigeria. And what else? Anymore? I think that's okay. I'm in another committee in CBN, but I think this is okay. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay, this is a fantastic profile. I think I have to go and hide mine because mine is like a junior, but I think I'm happy to have you on this panel. Yeah, so I will be having Najee as the last because he's not here, so we will punish him for not being here. Daniel Igumbo, please, if you are here, will you join me on the stage here? So Daniel, please, in a few minutes, do you want to give us a bio? Sorry for not having it with me.
It's fine. I actually didn't send it. That's why, yes, I kind of forgot I didn't see the email. My name is Daniel Igumbo. Hello? Better? Okay, my name is Daniel Igumbo. I have to defer to my other colleagues here, but I have over 10 years experience in professional services with one of the big four. I worked in digital risk and cybersecurity. Prior to that time, I did some time in the bank, and then I've primarily worked in telecommunications for the last 4 years. I work in information security, that's cybersecurity at in telecommunications firm that I work with. And basically, I deal with information security risk. I deal with information security assessments. I deal with data privacy issues. I have certifications in information security, certifications in accounting. So to be specific, I have an ACCA, I have CISA, I have CRISC, I have CGIT, I have GCIH, I have CISSP, I have CFE, and a few others I cannot actually remember. My hope here is to bring as much knowledge as I have to be into this interactive panel to ensure that we all benefit from this session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So now, do you want to confirm that Energy is already online? RS Energy is online already? Okay, maybe he's going to join us soon. So now I have these two fantastic resource person here, and I know they will do justice to the questions. So I will start with a kind of a background to the questions so that we have a kind of reason why those questions will be coming up. So COVID-19 and human movement restriction placed by government internationally have circumstantially bettered work from home model. What that has proven to be productive, cyber crooks have equally identified vulnerabilities which are inherent and others which are consequential as well. Effectively, this has increased information system threat landscape. So this has put us in a situation where it is incumbent on us to discuss trending cybersecurity issues, working organizations and individuals globally. So my first question is this, is very simple question. I know I've got qualified person on the floor here. So number one, which of the attack patterns rank the most and what are the proven mitigations for this attack? So I will actually want Mr. Gubo to answer that.
It's better. Which of the attacks rank highest? Just to be sure I got it.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. And we've seen basically phishing in terms of sheer volume. There's been a ton of phishing attacks. I think if you're monitoring your email usage prior to the pandemic, you probably were getting about maybe 5 to 10 phishing mails a day. You may not notice because you have a spam guard in your emails. So it filters and just goes there. But if you go to your spam, you see it. It's typically there. From an organizational perspective, that has, at the very best, tripled. We've seen a ton of phishing attacks. We've seen even much more sophisticated phishing attacks. And it also links to an uptick. If I want to merge that, I'll merge phishing as well with ransomware, because we've seen a lot of ransomware in the environment, primarily with phishing as the primary vector. So you see basically harmless emails that will pass your mail filters, and then it's simply just routing you to go to a particular server that's been set up for you to download a particular file or executable to your desktop, which executes there. That's a normal attack that may evade some of your mail filters. So between ransomware and your traditional phishing attacks, which basically wants to steal your credentials or steal your data, I think you would have that's about 70% of the entire attack space. What you have left is basically the rest of them. Another thing that is driving phishing attacks, why it's increasing that much, is because it's quite effective and it's also cheap. Cheap being that you can reuse it quite easily. And with proliferation of ransomware as a service, you don't need to know much, right? You can just buy, just like you're paying to use a particular software, like you do your SaaS. You're paying someone, and then you can just simply set up. From a click of a button, you could spam 10 organizations, which you can easily discover just by going on Google. You could spam everybody there. You could craft your attacks, you could increase your intelligence, you could set up dummy servers. It's all a service now. So because it's simple and because there's the probability that you gain a lot financially from it. We're seeing massive payouts when it comes to ransomware. That's the reason why we're seeing ransomware attacks, particularly with emails being the primary vector increase in the environment.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. That's fantastic. So
will you, sorry,
yeah?
Will you permit me?
Yes, please. I'm coming to that. So the question has two sides. Which one rank most and mitigation? So I think I will want Mr. Eduje to perhaps say his comments to what Daniel said, and perhaps also give us what are the mitigations for phishing, ransomware induced by phishing. Okay.
Thank you very much. I can't agree less with Daniel. True. Phishing because it's simple. Ransomware because it has had good impact. Good impact. Imagine what happened to Colonial Pipeline, right? It didn't happen in our country, but all of us heard of it. $4.4 million was paid, right? And then fuel queues came to US like we used to see in Lagos, Nigeria, and at Abuja, right? And human beings who we think are more behaved, more gentle, we drop their pies and exchange physical blow because fuel was becoming scarce, right? apart from the money that left as well, they have to pay for it. Now, what happened to JBS? Ransomware as well. JBS have to pay $11 million. Why did they have to pay? Because they are the major supplier of meat. Now, the cyber criminals don't need to attack the meat. All they need to do is do ransomware, and distribution became scarce. The price of meat all over US was going north. And when that happens, the guys have to decide. We will not negotiate with terrorists. We will not pay ransomware guys. But here's the impact of that. The price of meat has gone triple. They have to pay what? $11 million. So what happened to CNN Financials, that the largest insurance corporation in the United States of America? They paid $40 million. Ransomware you have to pay. But what we then saw within that same window, a bank in VI was attacked. You know what they did? It's okay, no problem. They just switched over to their backup and left it and formatted the system. So it didn't go to the news that something like that happened. Now, ransomware truly is not, I beg to differ, it's not a COVID-19 related thing. It's only that the work from home and all of that have driven people's focus. I know that in an organization where I work in 2018, there was a ransomware attack. But because we have deployed what we then call whitelisting solution, a lockdown solution, what it does is defines the applications that are allowed to run on the environment. So for those of us who are in security and IT, we saw the worms, we saw the ransomware, but it didn't affect anything. People were working because it has no impact. You have locked your environment. You have defined what must work. So even if the virus, the malware comes in, anybody click and does anything, it has no impact. It cannot execute in your forest, in your domain, in as much as you lock down your systems properly. For ransomware, there is MS 1017, right, that Microsoft deploy as a patch. But the thing you need to do in addition to that is to make sure that you lock down your application. So only those you permit. So it's like if a man is inoculated against a particular disease through inoculation, not the COVID-19 type that we're not 100% sure, right? So let's take, for instance, that you have not measles, the other one, not polio, chicken pox, yeah. Except you have HIV, you should not have chicken pox twice. So if you have chicken pox, you are inoculated, isn't it? So if you inoculate your environment very well, ransomware is not going to get through. Now, the brother of ransomware is phishing, right? You can patch systems, right? The one thing you cannot do, you cannot patch human foolishness. The only thing to do is to trigger the human firewall by awareness. That's how you reduce the opportunity of people falling for phishing. We will not be able to stop people sending phishing mails. You can't do it. Nobody will tell you they can. It won't work. Yes, we would have deployed the anti-malware, filtering, anti-phishing solutions and all of that. But people will be socially engineered, right? Phishing, smishing, vishing. What about vishing? If they call me at home, you are not there, you can't protect me. I'm your customer. I'm still going to suffer loss. And when I suffer loss, my account will be hit. Somehow, one way or the other, I'm going to appeal to you. Either you pay me part of it or you tell me, Bele, but I'm your customer. The best protection you can give to me is to trigger my human firewall by being aware. And when I get conscious, I'm not going to fall. And if all of us did not fall, the general war factor, security war factor of the country would have increased. The cyber criminals will leave us and look for another soft target. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can you please jump our dues on for this fantastic Daniel and Edrije? Wow. So I think ISACA did not make mistake in having these guys on this panel. They are loaded, and I can see that. So question number 2, to most organizations, cybersecurity considerations are often overlooked or sidelined in organization corporate strategy. This is evidenced by near zero budget for cybersecurity program, and the effect of pandemic on businesses and organization economics, work from home, focus on digital information system, and similar endeavors change this narrative. I would like to start with Mr. Edrije.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, did I pronounce your name very well?
It's okay. We are two here. You call that DJ. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. Now, some time ago, it used to happen that way. But thank God for our organization. ISACA has helped to drive this awareness of cybersecurity and protection of systems. I know about 5 years ago, the board of ISACA International, the president of ISACA International, came with a local board to my organization to pay a visit to my management to say, thank you for having a number of your members in ISACA, and also too that your commitment to security is important. Now, and some years ago, it's really true, really used to be like that. You struggle to get your budget through. But by the time we also learned the language of the board, to speak to the board from the risk perspective, not with many words, but what has happened to others, and then the near misses that happened to us, right? Oh, we have this number of ransomware, DDoS. There's almost no organization that will not have about 1,000, if not more, DDoS attempts in every month. Last month alone, I have more than 12,000, but all of them were identified and blocked. All of them, no single one went through if you do what you do properly. When you present what the impact is and the impact of not doing it, nowadays they're able to attend to our budget and grant us what we need. The only other part of it is that if the board approves your budget and releases the resources and something goes wrong, they are almost going to call for your head. In fact, nowadays in the CISO's world, if you present 12 things and they approve 11, you're even happier. So that, God forbid, because information security, you can't be 100% protected, so that if something happens, you can hide. Sir, it's that 12th one that you did not approve. If the environment would have been totally secured, it gives you somewhere to hide. Because if you ask, now they're going to give you your budget, but pray. Please don't think of only tools. Add prayer to it, but you must do your work and ignite your people. No security is 100%. But you must do the defense in depth and continuously improve your environment. So nowadays it's better. Even the central bank has helped by defining that every bank in Nigeria must have an assistant general manager as their CISO. You know, so when you have an AGM, it's going to speak stronger than the voice that we used to speak when we were just managers, and it was difficult as IT auditors to get budget. So we get budget nowadays, but I hope we all leave or add to the technical skill, the board language, to be able to speak to them in the way they understand.
So you mean the business case, business justifications, these are the board language, and the near misses and the risk perspective. Brilliant. I learned that in a big way too, because I deal with boards that they want to see what figures, they want to see what revenue. So, and that revenue that is lean already and you want to take it, you must express yourself that it's going to be leaner if nothing is not done. So brilliant, brilliant. So I'm going to go to the next question. Which of the global business sectors is most affected by COVID-19 induced cyber attack, and why the hackers focus on those sectors? Mr. Daniel, would you want to take that question?
So in 2021 and 2020, from March, based on the available data that we are seeing internationally, it's actually the health sector that was most attacked. It's strange, but it's the health sector, right? It's the health sector. So it's become a gold mine. There's a ton of data that you can find in the health sector, and there's a lot of things that you can do if you're able to deny service when it comes to the health sector. So for instance, if you cause downtime at a major health provider, it affects the records of people who have, maybe they have their medical information on a particular server. You go to a provider, you expect that he already has your information and can attend to you very quickly. But because it's not available to them, you're realizing that the downtime that you have on your server or on your systems or your application is resulting in actual real life implications, health implications that can result to loss of life as well. So because of that as well, if you, let's just say you're able to deploy ransomware on a very huge provider, or maybe you're able to deny them service. So if you DDoS them and they go down and they can't bring up their system for 24 hours, the impact of that is going to be felt far higher than if you had simply DDoS an eatery that is just serving customers food, basically. And because of that, governments as well take that very seriously. Now, what you find is that because of this attention, because of the criticality of this sector, everybody knows that any downtime there can result in loss of life. So it also results in increased ransoms that will be paid. So if for any reason, oh, I'm able to succeed, of course, there will be no discussion beyond 2 hours. Can you bring it up? No, pay the ransom. It's just that simple. And what you find is, I think that from the available data, there was an increase in the average ransom paid in the healthcare sector by about 170%. Based on 2019-2021 data, it's increased very hugely. And An understated thing outside of the sectors as well is the smaller businesses. Now, this one is regardless of sector. They suffered a lot when it comes to ransomware and phishing in 2020 and 2021. It just went on and went on. And my colleague spoke about budgets. He spoke about budgets, and the small businesses too are having budget, but they still have those budget issues as well. So, yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Daniel. X sector is most attacked, and we cannot just agree to that because you might want to play around time if it's not health sector, but if you know that your citizen is going to die, as a reasonable leader, you might want to negotiate with the crook. So, and those crook too, I think they are not stupid, sincerely. So I'm going to ask this question. This question has been bothering me, and I think maybe there's no solution. But I want to think there should be a solution. It's about datafication. Datafication, that is converting every part of human being to data. You go to Google now to browse shoe. When you go to Facebook, you see shoe adverts. When you go to YouTube, you see shoe adverts. You'll be wondering, how is Google telling there is this collaboration between this big player? The number of pi means personal identifiable information in circulation was just 5. In the early age of internet, we have just 5 exabytes. Today, that's the entire internet age. When the internet started, about 4 or 5 years of that internet, we have just 5 exabytes of personal information. However, approximately 2.5 exabytes of data is collected every 24 hours now. That is, by application, the amount of data generated those period, we will generate it in 2 days now. It's the same that we generate. So my question is, there are a lot of data protection regulations. We have GDPR, we have NDPR, we have US Privacy Shield, we have all of them. And I remember that Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, Dr. Issa Pantani, was almost taking on Truecaller when he just came to power as a minister, that how are they able to have Nigerian personal identifying information? So this datafication, what do you think is the solution? There are some organizations in Nigeria that are running legitimate business. If you approach them, they will tell you state by state by state, this is the amount of telephone GSM user in this state. We will give you 200,000 telephone user and you will pay. I don't want to mention names. Some in Nigeria, if you want to do your digital marketing, they will tell you that they will help you send SMS at 6 naira to any number of people you want. But if you want to have this number yourself, you pay 16 naira per person. So organizations are selling our data and they are operating legitimately and opening offices and closing every day. Mr. DJ, what do you think we can do to solve this datafication, this data privacy issue in Nigeria?
Okay, thank you very much. That data you gave is fine, but I can assure you by next year, the total data collected from the beginning of internet to today will be collected in less than 1 month because it keeps growing. When maybe some 20 years ago, the thought was that 5 years ago, I can do business without a computer, right? But the reality of today's world is that even if you choose not to buy a desktop, you have a computer in your hands. You must connect, you must talk, you must exchange ideas. You know, prior to this time, my brother in Igbo land will say, Onyafia, the person who takes goods to the market to sell, isn't it? But today, market has come to us, and that gives us convenience. So we must keep generating data. The only way we must be reached, right? Okay. The focus here is PII, personal identifiable information. While we as a nation would try to protect our own, which is the best we can do, really, all of us have in some ways given out some. You buy a phone, you're setting up the phone, it asks for information, you're clicking allow everything. You're setting up your phone, you agree to a contract without even reading the content. Bro, do you know to trace you where you are is not difficult? All I need is to trace your phone and find out where your phone will be 12 midnight to 3 a.m. every night. That's your house. If let it be that you sleep in a hotel 12 months, the place you sleep every day of a year or half of the year for 12 months, it's your house for that year, right? So if we're thinking smart, some of the things we do about address verification would have been done on the phone, isn't it? Good. Now, however, Pantami came up with NDPRO, which was good. The good thing it has done is that the guys in Europe, the guys in UK cannot come to me and say, you must comply with GDPR. I tell them, I'm sorry. I was given a license by Federal Republic of Nigeria to work here. So if I comply with NDPR, that's okay. And that has earned us some respect among the Committee of Nations. We have NDPR who are protecting personal identifiable information. But the key to the true protection is for us to know and be cautious of what we give out. All of us that worked, okay, not this hotel. You walk into any hotel, you walk to any organization, without checking that CCTV is in place, you have been recorded now, right? And you go there and they say sign for security at the security entry point, right? You're going to fill the form, your name, your address, your phone number, your signature. If I have your phone number, I put the USSD, I have your BVN, isn't it? And if once I have your phone number, I have your BVN, what is difficult again? You just 1, 2, 3 things to add and I have every information about you. Today, sorry, we're only a piece of data. It's just between living on the earth and living under the earth when the time on the earth is over. We're only a piece of data, and that's the truth about it, right? It's only that our souls, we have to go and meet God who created us, isn't it? Thank you. So, bro, the fact is that for organizations, right, we have to make sure the best that the data that we collect, we apply adequate protection. But for those guys who are doing business with information, they will keep doing it. They may even get more. But I tell you the truth, just where we had nothing, but in 2015, we had the Cybercrime Prohibition Act. We had nothing, but in 2019, we had the NDPRO. I tell you the truth, the government, let me use the word the government in quotes, those in authority are also not blind. It's only that they are learning and coming. But their speed is also increasing because what is affecting me and you on the street is affecting them or affecting their children or affecting their parents. So I'm sure as a country, we are improving. We will get there with more laws and regulations. But as for them having business, they'll keep having it and they'll keep having access to more information. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I just want to buttress something that my colleague here just said. A lot of these applications have access to a ton of stuff that they shouldn't have access to. It's in the fine print. You've signed, you've agreed. But where possible, if you can restrict the permissions that are available to these applications, please do. An application that is requesting access to your location, why should it have access to your location? And then my colleague here spoke about, oh, you want to buy something, you're just thinking about it. Maybe you just search it in Google. And the next 100 ads that you're going to get will be about that. Or maybe you're not even searching on Google. Say you're searching somewhere else on Jumia, and then you go to Konga. Konga already knows. You go somewhere else. These applications are tracking you every single place. Now we have operating systems now that are smarter, that are giving you the option to specify, do you want to allow these applications track you? Where you understand this, as much as possible, try to tell them, please don't track me. And yes, it may be subtle, it may be small, but the minute you deny them that consent to track you, then they are mandated not to track you in line with the GDPR. A key ingredient that is missing from the NDPR that we've seen, it's fantastic, is stuff like that when it comes to checking. And like I said, the knowledge curve is accelerating. Implementation is also accelerating. Very soon, a lot of people will be taken to bear because of compliance issues. But on our own part as people, let us try as much as possible to review the permissions we give, particularly when it comes to IoT, our mobile devices, our laptops, the applications that we use. Review the permissions that you give to these applications. Another one that will resonate with all of us is these loan applications. It's similar to the way Truecaller works, right? They just simply export your entire contact list. It's part of the fine print. It's part of what you've given them access to. They export your entire contact list, and if you default, they start to pepper every single person with text messages. And you're like, where did you get it? Yeah, I got it from your phone. And it's your data. They just exported it. So as much as possible, let us try to review these things. Let us try to restrict them. And yeah, it will get better.
Thank you very much, Daniel and Eduje. That's fantastic. The take home from there is that don't just think, stop thinking before you connect. if you are downloading an application, for instance, Truecaller, at the point of installing, it asks, it's going to access your contact, and he said yes. And my phone number is in your phone, and my phone is uploaded to Truecaller. So if somebody else call me and that person has Truecaller, my name will show on his phone, even when I have not given him my number. But somebody who has my number has ignorantly given it to Truecaller. So, and when Nigerian government took Truecaller on, they said that every data they have, they had it through the consent of the owner of the data. And consent is one of the most important. If I in GDPR has 99 articles and 65 reciters, the most important of those articles is consent. Very important. So when you have consented, nobody can, if you consent that I should slap you, nobody can say, why did I slap you? You agree and I slap you. So take home is, let's be sure of what we say yes to. Thank you very much. So the next question is online scam, phishing, disruptive malware, data harvesting malware, malicious domain, fake news. All of these are identified as COVID-19 inflicted cyber threat in 2020-2021. Of all these, which one do you think we should watch out for as the most deadly in 2022? So let's start with Daniel.
Okay. I think it's similar to the first question that we asked, right?
This one is, are we expecting something to overtake ransomware, or you see the same Ronaldo and Messi?
It's still the same Ronaldo and Messi. I think that's the easy way to describe it. Ransomware, the impact, how successful it has been, I don't think we've had anything even close in a long time when you're looking at the vectors. Matter of fact, it's because you don't need to know much nowadays. There's ransomware as a service. Before now, you had to go and read books. You had to go to the dark web, get material, sweat a little, try to understand a bit. Then you now start to now confront the blue team. Oh, what are your defenses? How can I bypass your defenses? Now it's just about that one mail. I send 1,000 to 1,000 staff. One person clicks it. Yes, he spoke about defense in depth when he talked about you've put in your mail filters, you've put in awareness. It's always going to be that one person. Practically anybody actually can fall for a phishing attack, to be fair. It depends on your mindset at that point in time. It depends on a lot of factors. So maybe you're just, oh, what's happening here? You just click. It can happen. But that's where defense in depth comes in. That's where a lot of other things around how we protect you and how you protect yourself also coming. I don't think it will change. I think currently looking at the data, 2021 versus 2020, we are around somewhere. We've seen at least a 27% rise in the actual volume of attacks. This is not in the amount, because if we go by the amount, I've already said we've seen 170%. This is 27% rise in just the volume that we are seeing. So we have people who are starting up and are saying, you don't need to know much. Just come here and pay $20 and you can do this thing and make money. So it's going to keep rising, really. We just need to concentrate on our defense in depth. We need to concentrate on user awareness, keep forcing the message, keep pushing the message. As much as possible, sandboxing is something that will help you, regardless of how you deploy your mail filters, no matter how you deploy your mail technology. Sandboxing will help you significantly. At the very least, if you deploy your payload within a sandbox, you can analyze that payload. You can do a lot of things to that payload and then be sure it's safe before you allow it. For those of us who are using cloud providers, for instance, there's sandboxing with cloud providers. There's also the safe links that you can enable, depending on the kind of license that you have, that basically checks these links to be sure that they are safe before it allows your users access to it. Another key thing, for those who have all sorts of clients that allow communication with stuff like WeTransfer, that allow basically internet access from your LAN, basically, you need to be careful, very, very careful, to ensure that you have something that is checking those packets, that is checking what is coming in, and is at least passing it based on threat intel. Real-time threat intel will save people, and that's just it.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Mr. Eduji, I know you want to speak to that as well, because I could see you itching. So, yeah.
I'm taking it quite significantly, right? Quite significantly. I see people. So I saw somebody looking at this.
Okay, so okay, that's fine. So okay, let's move to the next, probably 2 more questions. The next one is actually going to speak to the ease of becoming an hacker. So in the dark web, in the dark web. Some of you here, some of us who have not heard of dark web before, they will tell you what is dark web. In the dark web, report has it that there is now a cyber crime training package that you pay for and you'll be trained and you become certified cyber criminal. That is what is called crime as a service. We have consultant contractor who wake up every day and their job is they are service provider. And what they do is that they render cyber crime as a service. We have it in dark web. Development and sales of hacking tools. It just says $20 will buy ransomware attacking tools. Then do you think that global collaboration efforts or international government and big players can bring about a remarkably reduced activities of these cybercrime actors and stage sponsors actors? When we have COVID-19, there are a lot of collaboration organization-wide. Those who develop the vaccine first share with those who did not develop. Those who study the coronavirus, who know the vector, also share the intelligence. So I'm thinking these cyber security issues, do you think collaborations by government organizations globally can enable us to solve this problem? For instance, are you saying we can't shut down dark web? I mean, they ride on one backbone. If you ask me, I know they have so many replicated servers here and there, but at least everything on internet is traceable. So, Eduje, please tell us about this. Are you saying we cannot put an end to this dark web activity and save our life?
Thank you very much. I agree. Global collaboration and guys working together, fine. We reduce the activities, clear. It will reduce it. But how remarkably is an issue of time. Now, the game we are in against is a game of, in the case of COVID-19 pandemic, almost everybody in the world agree that this thing is killing people, it's a virus. So more people are willing to cooperate and work and make sure the thing reduces, right? They want to protect their lives. But in the case of cyber criminals, these guys don't believe that it is bad. We're in Nigeria now. Was it last month or this last month? About 72 boys were arrested. What did they do? They were doing best Yahoo Boy Award.
Logo State.
Correct. So do those boys believe that cybercrime is wrong? No, think of their head now. They don't believe it's wrong. And again, to them it's a way of surviving, right? Right from the day of Cain and Abel, somebody did good and somebody said, I'm going to kill this man, right? And stealing and harlotry, and those things have been there in the days of the Bible. In today's world, they believe that that is their own way of survival. So if the collaboration also involve economic factors, right? So they can see more value. That if I do this work and earn this pay, it gives me more value to reduce. Otherwise, let's even talk about dark web. How did dark web start? It's not the Yahoo boys of today that created dark web now. In fact, the Yahoo boys are junior when you come to hacking. They are junior now. They only do, most of them are only doing social engineering.
Yeah. Not
They're not doing any intelligent hacking or anything. But the truth is that, like you said at the beginning, that fish is social engineering because it is easiest to get people, happens to be the highest in number of attacks in the world today. So global collaboration will help us to get people across, like Invictus hitting people in US and it's in Nigeria, and like Hush Puppy hitting people, and like that PA to the governor is a PA to a governor in Nigeria, and there in US is applying for out of job insurance for him to be paid for not having job work to do during COVID-19. Meanwhile, it's a PA to a governor in Nigeria, and it not applied to only one state, but to several states in US. The reason why it was caught. All right, so sorry, so but that's the truth. So if there is global collaboration, you can pick somebody across, you can trace him across. I agree, it will bring reduction. But to eliminate it, when somebody thinks it is right and daily bread, it's going to be difficult. It's like UK saying that Nigerians don't come, and then some Nigerians are crying because they refuse to build their country. Don't come to my house. Is it a crime? So what are we hearing in our country? But anyway,
thank you. So I want to ask the last question now because I think we spent quite enough time here. So the last question is, We have awarenesses, we have talk shows, conferences, training, are what characterize the most of activities of cyber interest group in Nigeria. We have CISHAN, we have ISACA, we have NCS, we have ICS Square. All of these are they are always engaged in talk show, awareness, conferences, training. Do you think these are enough? What else can we do to move Nigerian name out of the worst globally affected internet crime nation, as FBI in 2020 ranked Nigeria as the 16th most affected nation? Daniel. Apologies to ISACA.
I really apologize to ISACA. The conference one was a proper song. Okay. Things that we can do. The conferences are actually very key because it helps you exchange knowledge. A lot of us go back here and we are stuck doing operational stuff. You now have like a view of just your own space. But coming here and interacting with your colleagues gives you an idea of what's happening in that space. I'll give you an example. Sometime last year, collaboration was really key. I don't know if this example is something you can relate with. We got intel basically that a lot of our active services were going to be DDoS, and this was spread across the banks, it was spread across telco, basically everybody. I'm sure we all know what happened last year. It was supposed to be anonymous. They had deployed tools they were sending to people to say, just come in, you don't need to have any skill. We'll give you the tools. We just want to use your endpoints. Basically, we all know DDoS basically is distributed, right? So any endpoint can be used. So they just wanted it to be something that just caused a lot of panic in the system. And it was really important at that time. Can you share data? I think one bank, after some time, came out and said, okay, some of our services have gone down. Okay, we're like, so what happened? Nothing. So it's collaboration, both at the private and the public level. Collaboration increasing to the extent where I know back in the day, the banks, CBN mandated basically for everybody to sit down and review compliance issues. I'm not aware if we have something similar for cybersecurity right now, where we do.
Yeah, there's even a framework that CBN released that guides all banks, and you must comply with it.
Okay, so maybe the gap there is to extend to telcos, but at telco level, I'm pretty sure we don't have that today. Where everybody sits down, what's happening in your space, what are you seeing by the data, how do we need to change our approach, and all of that as well, even including the regulator. Now, from the regulator standpoint, from the federal standpoint, we've also signed agreements that can strengthen our cybersecurity. And for the last 4 years, at least, we've been doing resilience assessments of our crime fighting capacity at EFCC level, ICPC level, police force level. We've been doing those assessments to see, do we need to scale up capacity wise? Do these guys have the right skills to do this? When we sign agreements, like the Commonwealth Agreement, implementing it is also a problem. Of course, we know how long it takes sometimes to do implementation here. Budget for implementation as well is not easy. But implementing those frameworks also assures you of data exchange. It's quite similar to how Interpol works. You're looking for someone today, you don't know much about the person. The person may have crossed countries. What do? You simply go into your database and then put out a red notice. Oh, everybody checks. Oh, do I have this particular person in my database? How can I find him? And then you utilize it. Currently today in the private sector, we have a lot of reliance on threat intel, right? Extending our threat intelligence and the capacity that we built as a private sector to the public sector will help significantly reduce the issues that we're facing. Like he said, and he made a very important point. This is their bread and butter. It's their bread and butter. The reality is that we spoke about the dark web, but if you see what's happening on Telegram today, dark web is like child's play. It's like child's play. And the point I'm trying to make there is, if you're to take down dark web, for instance, Silk Road 1 and 2, version 1 and 2 went down, it's not going to stop them. They will keep having people coming up with all of this. The best thing we can do is keep collaborating and sharing data, getting smarter and reacting faster. That's it.
Thank you, Daniel. You say aside of conferences and talk show, collaboration is one of the solutions. So, Mr. Eduje, do you also have a proposal on how to improve?
Okay.
Let me just give you a small background, a few minutes. When I did my project, doing my master's, I developed a software called VACOM, Vulnerability and Compliance Management System. It does non-scanning vulnerabilities based on the asset you select on the system. It's also do compliance based on ISO 20001 and GDPR DPIA. And I've gone to so many organizations to see how this can be improved and scale it up to our international market. And I've been getting a lot of rejections. So I'm just looking at, are there no very fantastic guys in Nigeria? Maybe I finished with distinction because of that. Country where we develop our own solutions and probably improve on existing ones with new solutions. Like we have now, fintech is, Nigeria is becoming like a fintech marketplace. If any company wants to buy a fintech company, Nigeria, we've seen Nigerian people who are into fintech solutions and they have already been bought by some organizations globally. Yeah. And even one is going to be bought very soon. So what do you think?
One is going to be bought very soon.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Before I come to your question, let me say something on why some of the awarenesses we do when we observe for 3 years are not very effective. You know, practically, if you look at Nigeria, the kind of song that gets easily popular is the one they repeat one word severally and they don't use many words, right? They were in reggae line. There was once a man called Oriswiliki. There was a man called Raskimono. Oriswiliki was so philosophical. Raskimono came out and said, them no like me no like them. And everybody knows the song. Like one man said, them go they pose, right? Them go they dege. And even older men were singing it. Now, the awareness that organizations communicate, because you want to put every detail, become complex. The customer reads it. He may not have time to finish it because the customer is also busy. He needs time. Time is the currency that is common to everything on earth. Time is so. People now, what guides awareness that is sent to customers is KISS, KISS. Keep it short and simple. Either you do KISS or you do KVISS. Keep it very short and simple. Keeps, right? So that if it's in 3 lines, just say, do not share your password. You may be a victim. That will be okay. But when that awareness is long, maybe I read line 1, I see do not, and then all the other things are putting the point. I may forget if I'm a businessman in the market. If my work is to sell and pursue, they don't go to I they talk. I know makes sense to me. Go work about. So it will make sense to me, right? So first we keep our awareness short. And for collaboration, like you said, very important. You can't throw it away. Now, some time ago, in industry, there is still competition, but recently, practitioners in cybersecurity, information security have come to see that securing our cyberspace is not a competition. So there is more collaboration among corporate organizations. People will find a way to drive this in public sector too. Now, it's easy now. What has happened is that in every bank, for example, there's a fraud desk. They can share among themselves because there's a channel of trust. Even at the telco, can I say telco talks to NCS, your regulator? NCC, yes. And then you talk from there, you can talk to Office of the NSA, and we can talk there like that as well and turn around. And sometimes when it is tough, when I say, okay, let CBN and your NCC come together and talk, and then we drive down either a strategy or a policy. At some point, some attempts were made to get the public sector into this, but it hasn't been very, very successful. But I'm sure that by the time we get there, see, I'm sorry, we talk about ransomware, right? And health sector. Why do you think they will go and attack health sector? In your bank and during your project, you would have upgraded your security, right? But in the emergency ward, no, ICU, the priority is to secure life. So it can even be running on Windows 98. Provided it can secure life, they won't bother. Do you understand? Because every business have what is called your key, your jewel, your key jewels, your crown jewels. God bless you. So why I am looking at money, you are looking at data, which sometimes can be bigger than money. And then you are looking at special projects. What she may be looking at is the life of this next person. So she won't bother about that. And truth, forget about the lies of FBI. Their US is worse than us. They're only trying to drive people to use 2FA. In Nigeria, in every bank, using 2FA, the regulation was given by CBN how many years ago? See, today, where our card is chip and pin. their card is still marked stripe. So when FBI come and tell their lies to make you and me feel that we are inferior, we are not inferior, we are better than them. Hackers that have broken them did not break through us. I'm a Nigerian, I'm black. The best SIM is called Axite. It was developed by Nigeria. Because they bought it over, they make it look as if we're inferior. Don't let anybody feel you are inferior. We all read computer science, only our economy has made it difficult for us not to think of who we are. That's why I feel bad when my Senate, all they could talk about was not to come to UK. Who are they, by the way? We have our brains, we should think. That is one of the things we should take on from here. Don't let them brainwash you. Don't let them feel they are better. Don't let them feel they are more secured. Ransomware attacked them and they were paying millions. Ransomware attacked some banks in Nigeria and they simply kick away the primary and they brought the backup. Ransomware attacked me in DTOS attacked the bank I was working some 5 years ago. Nothing happened. So why did they make us feel we are inferior so that we can buy more from them? Bro, I agree with you. You're not inferior. What you've done is superior. I'm sure that in ISACA we can network. And we talk in some organizations, bring up the software. If you have nobody to buy, we'll talk about some people and you get people to sell it for. In as much as you want to develop our country, I'm sure you have a friend. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So thanks. It's nice having this. Please, that clap is not official. Let me announce the official clap now. Please jam those out for them, please. Official one. Yeah. Fantastic. So thank you very much, ISACA Lagos. Thank you very much, Daniel and Eduje. Thank you very much. Is it? Okay, so before we leave, I know there may be 1 or 2 questions from the audience. So please, we have capable hands here who will answer your question. So we can take 1 or 2, 3 questions at most.
All right, so I believe there are questions. Such a powerful, session. Honestly, one that I feel that not only, members or even people in the whole IS and IT world should listen to. Looks like everybody should listen to this one. So if you have questions, please, this is the right time. I have some questions to take here. This one here says, question for the panelists. Good to always secure your environment, but is there really a foolproof system? Defense systems are usually built for known threats and vulnerabilities. It is a matter of time that the most advanced defense system becomes the most vulnerable. It is the reason Security Incident Response Plan and SOC in general is mandated.
Yeah, so I think we want to go first. Okay.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much for that question. There is no 100% security anywhere. Don't let anybody deceive you. China has been hacked, US has been hacked, Nigeria has hacked. So there's no 100% security. But like we talk about defense impact, you must keep increasing your war factor. The criminals don't also have the whole time on earth. So when they want to attack, except it's a spear attack where they focus on an organization, they want to look for the lowest hanging fruit, the one they can get easily and run away. But you must keep increasing. You talk about SOC. SOC is SOC. It's fine. SOC means that you're going to pull all your logs and you have a system that can aggregate your logs and can analyze and correlate and give you suspected red flags. We call them red flags, and for you to integrate. Please, left the SOC today. It also comes with threat intelligence. So please, I don't know who asked the question. Make sure that the heart of your SOC, which is called a SIM, have AI with it and machine learning capability with it as well. And if you can integrate your anti-fraud solution with your SOC, it will help you. So when you see a red flag, as you're looking at it, you make sure the money does not go away. Because if your SOC is so powerful, but the money has gone, the board will still ask you questions. And if you are the head of security, you have a bag of questions to answer. Thank you.
Okay, so Daniel, I want to speak to that question again.
I'll just add one thing to that. Your SIM is only as good as the use cases that you put on it. You need to, as much as possible. Like I said, there's no 100% solution anywhere. Developing use cases is an ongoing, continuous activity. You learn based on what you see, and you develop use cases based on what you see. Keep reviewing your use cases, keep developing new use cases, keep trying to reduce false positives, because alert fatigue is really, really killing people in cybersecurity today. Ensure as much as possible that you have a team that is devoted to reviewing and reducing false positives and ensuring that you can identify anomalies as quickly as they occur, and that way you can respond even faster.
Thank you very
All
much.
right.
Thomas Mueller, former FBI director, says there are two types of people: those that have been hacked and those that will be hacked. So there's no any silver bullet anywhere, no foolproof. So just increase your security in depth. Thank you very much.
All right. Is there any defense against consent in ignorance given by a lot of people that really did not know what they have actually consented to and are being preyed upon by these app developers? Is there any help for them?
The simple help is awareness. The awareness, like you say, keys, very key and very simple. All of us are victims. Even some of us, you know this software will do this, and you want to download, want to quickly get to submit or go, and all of them, you're just clicking, click yes, yes, yes. Take time. Have it in mind that you are giving yourself out, the whole of yourself, and always ensure that what you don't have to consent to, you don't consent to. Some app will actually discontinue the installation from there. I'm sorry. So at that point, you have to choose. Do you really want to do that? Then you can make it. Another way is that consult those who are industry experts in that field. Let them give you an advice. Probably you will not make mistake. Then Mr. Daniel mentioned about SIMS. Some of us might not be tech savvy. SIMS means security information and event management solutions that aggregates log from all the endpoints and analyze and come up with some red flags. So that's for your information. So sorry if you don't mind MC. Somebody has been raising his hand from the audience. So let's hear him, please.
Okay. Thank you for this opportunity and also for the great presentation. My name is Agedo Francis. I would like to start by the last fire from Eduji. I call it fire. That the charge, actually, we don't appreciate what we have. And with that, we see a lot of anomalies in the system. My question, what he actually said. I see a lot of these statistics that we dish out coming from, I don't see it coming from our own environment. We tend to say there's X percentage of ransomware and the rest. And we see most of those things are so when I see all these statistics coming out, actually from us, our own statistics, relating it to what as cybersecurity experts, so that we actually see those things not scary enough. What is it that we are facing here in our own environment, and what we have, or what we've already controls that we put in place that will actually help us to move the conversation from that scary aspect. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You want us to the charity begins at home. Is that correct? So you want us to talk about our own statistics to buttress our point when we are having discussions such as this. To me, that's fantastic. And I think one of the industries that I think have a lot of statistics is banking industry, but you won't see the public domain for one reason or the other. But I think they exist. So, but I will let Edojo speak to that.
Okay, thank you so much. Information too is also something we need to share. Now, NIBSS, Nigeria Interbank Settlement System, right? If you go to their website, you will see the trend of different kind of frauds, right? And how much, in what volume, how the monies were spent. The people that stole this money, did they use it at the casinos? Casino is not common in Nigeria, right? The casino is there. Did they use it to buy things online? So if you go to NIP's website, you would see it. There is also Nigeria Electronic Force Forum. All right. They released their own mark. NIPS released their instruction, their publication, I think even quarterly, every quarter, for all banks in Nigeria. Put all the fraud figures together, the ones that were successful, not successful, you see it on their website. Then Nigeria Electronic Fraud Forum, it's all banks and other organizations in Nigeria, mostly private sector. They release their own magazine, their write-ups maybe once a year, so to speak, but you will see data as well on the site. If you go to CBN site as well, you may see some, but more of fraud and cyber attacks and what it is, you will see it in NIPS every quarter. That will help. I think that's what we've had now from the financial sector that you can put your hands into and get very freely. It's only that driving what I said, at some point, people see that if I'm hacked, they feel I am less of the competition. So they see it as a disadvantage. But what we're doing in industry, we're getting our stakeholders to see that if the hand of one man is caught and you can stop the hands of the other man from being caught, then you have helped the global network. If we're all in one village and only one of my hand is caught, everybody have their two hands. Maybe when they finish feeding their children, they can give me some. But if they cut my hand and I did not talk and they cut his hand and they cut everybody's hand, we all have one hand. We may not be able to feed our children. Then the issue of Solomon, let's eat the children, will come out, and then we'll be back to the problem we're having, isn't it? So collaboration and cooperation and collaboration and collaboration and collaboration. Maybe in ISACA, maybe in our next document, we could get some of this information from NIPS, from CBN, and from different organizations and publish them. It will also help us as members of ISACA. And I'll talk with the current board on this. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Daniel, do you have anything to say to that?
Okay. I can see someone has his hand up in the audience. So yes, the financial services has a ton of this data. It comes out just like my colleague here said. It comes out as well. I think the primary reason why it's difficult to build a model is because you need to have similar data across all of the sectors in Nigeria. So for instance, when it comes to healthcare, which body, which regulator is primarily responsible, that's accepted the NDPR basically, and is responsible for collecting or ensuring that people who they regulate provide this data to the regulators, also a central feed for which you can now tap and provide the intelligence or the model. What you find is that we have a lot of regulators, but when it comes to defining what data should be collected, the way we have it outside. So for instance, we talked a lot about US statistics, right? Every single sector reports cybersecurity incidents centrally. And that's the reason why it's easy for us to get that data. We don't have that here. So yes, financial services is spotless. Telco, all of this data exists. But when you start to delve into different sectors outside of these two, you will find that we don't have as much of that data. So the key starting point really is to simplify regulation and ensure that your regulation cuts across all of the sectors. So your compliance reporting is always localized, it's different per sector. But when it comes to cybersecurity, there are primary patterns and data that you can ensure are part of your reporting. And if that cuts across all sectors, then we have a starting place for which we can start to use our data. Remember how MBS did it? It's similar to the approach that we must take going forward. Yeah.
So lastly on that question, sorry, just a few minutes. 2 weeks ago, I was at I was in a gathering that's organized by the Presidency Office of the National Security Advisor, and it's a multi-stakeholder on the review of national cybersecurity policies. And a lot of cybersecurity stakeholders were there, and I was there as well. And it was actually a topical issue at that point. So the federal government is looking at a kind of collaborations and a kind of database of all these cybersecurity incidences, and there will be a kind of bill that will be special to Senate to compare organizations to compare them to report cybersecurity issues it's happening. And if that happens, there will be a central database where this information can be sought for. So we are going to get there, and I think we're going to get there. Thank you very much. I think we have room for one more question. Yeah. One more question. That's the last question.
But while he takes that, someone says, I recently read that there is no need for antivirus on computers. Can this be true? This is Olufemi Samuel. Just very quickly. No need for antivirus.
Then able to answer to that.
There is a need for EDR. There's a need. I don't know if the content of your question basically is moving from traditional AV to EDR, but it's very important. It's ground zero important for you to have EDR and to migrate to EDR basically. So what you know as your particular antivirus, it's very important. Things that it does includes file scanning. It includes registry scanning, and particularly if you're not using any of the expensive ones. So you're even using Windows. When you get a particular malware and you plug it into Virus Total, it scans across all of the providers to tell you where it will be detected and where it will not be detected. When you have a provider that detects it, you are safe. But if you did not have anything, you're compromised, right? So you have to look at EDR as part of your defense in depth. Is it sufficient to protect you? The answer is no. But is it required? The answer is yes.
Thank you very much. Simple, required, but not sufficient. So the last question.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Arin Zubuche. Yeah, I listened to the point when you talk about the dark webs. I wanted to say, okay, there's also the deep web, and there's so many of them that are already in existence. Because what I was saying, can we stop it? So what came to my mind, I asked, okay, can we stop armed robbery? Can we stop fraud in the bank? Can we stop things like that? Which, of course, you gave an answer here. It could be reduced, could be checked. And then also, even from what you just said just now, but someone that asked that question, okay, we need to continue to have protection, increase amounts. But those guys that are doing this dark web, they are busy working too. Now how to keep destroying, keep happening. So what I'm trying to say that it's always going to be there. And then the last question was, we should also try to have our own protection. So we have to guide against it. Now I can say thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we can only reduce, we can't completely eradicate it. That's the truth. So, and then you want to say something?
Yes, if you permit me 30 seconds. Now, dark web, deep web. Thank you, sir. How the dark web come is actually the US Army. They developed it. So while you are seeing the top, they can communicate among themselves without you knowing, right? Raising from the time of old wars where encryption also came about and people got into using it. See, is in your computer today, right? Or in your organization, there are some things you publish for us to see, like your website, isn't it? Right? And so I'm going to go and search publicly and I will see it. But your in-house files, I'm not supposed to see them, isn't it? So if you are properly configured and properly secured, even when I try to get into it, I'm not going to see it. So the internet is in layers, the ones that everybody has published, open directory, so you can see all of that. But the ones below that you need your Tor browser to access is called the dark web. It's a part of what we call the net of computer systems. Right, so the dark web will not leave. It's only that you'll be able to control, be able to increase ability to detect when things happen, control it a bit, and then reduce crime. Just the way mobile phone came today, and today almost like you can't stop it, except there's a newer technology where maybe you just put something on your eyeglass and you can see anything and you can connect to anybody. Then we'll drop our phones as well, right? So it's not something that will go away, but the trend, and that's why we are all together here. How do we reduce cybercrime? How do we reduce deviance so that we can use this good thing to develop better things? I think that's more of a call for us.
Thank you. I think I want to consider that as your closing remark. Am I correct? Yes, Daniel, do you have a closing remark? 20 seconds.
Okay, thank you. Closing remark. I'll just follow through on what he's saying. The dark web is not going to go. That's the honest truth. What will increase is surveillance of the dark web. It is law enforcement agencies knowing what is happening there and responding to it. We had a use case for the dark web recently. You mentioned the people that paid 4.4 million, where 2.3 was recovered eventually, right? There's a use case for the dark web. It helps you. It gives you insights. It's just the way we work when we're in blue teaming assignments. We want to know as much as possible as what the red team is doing so that we can respond to it. The dark web, we have threat intel that is currently sitting there and analyzing what is happening on the dark web when it comes to our customer data. I'm sure they already use that in banks as well. So if your customer, your data of your staff is leaked on the dark web, something will tell you, right? We have people who are providing a service to search the dark web for all of our staff and communicate if they find anything related to our staff so that we can protect them. So there's a use case that helps you even in your preventive measures in the dark web. It's very important to emphasize that. And for me, that's it.
Thank you very much. I want to say that I can't be lucky enough to have these two fantastic guys on this panel. And I was thinking the questions they will sweat to answer, but they are very prolific and they have a ton of experience. And I want to also believe that we have not left the audience more confused. And I want to think that you've taken one or two things home. And we are still here. We are able. I'm here to actually network and share my contact. And I want to think they are also able to do that as well. So that if you have questions or any further engagement that is not you are not able to discuss on this forum, we're more than glad to assist you and probably to collaborate with you. Thank you for having us, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. Please do me a favor, ladies and gentlemen. One, because they've done you a great favor of not having to deal with sleep and fatigue after that great meal by a fantastic presentation that they've had. Please use one stone to kill two birds, and please be upstanding and give them a resounding applause for a fantastic job they've done. Great wealth of experience and knowledge, value they have given to us today. And a job well done to them. Thank you very much, Mr. DJ Iguapo. Okay, and of course, you know, we are only a piece of data, is something profound that he said. We are only a piece of data. And a very big thank you to as well to Mr. Daniel, you know, Igumbo, you know, says that you need to review the permissions that you give. And of course, you need to react a lot faster. I don't know if anybody feels the way I'm feeling right now, because I'm just thinking that maybe I'm done with smartphones. I need to get back to using my Palasa, if you don't mind, because this work is getting too much. I was just on my own, JJ. They say we should buy a smartphone. I mean, with all the things they just talked about right now, and these people, if you all agree with me, the same way you go to your religious bodies to pray, they are also praying for business, aren't they? You know, for things to work out for them.